Namaste and welcome to Nari Talk, the show that gives you everything you need to overcome your limitations and live your best life. I'm interviewing Michele Molitor. She's the founder and CEO of Nectar Consulting Inc. and co-author of the best-selling book Breakthrough Healing. She works with executives and entrepreneurs, bringing over 25 years of experience, intuitive insights, and strategic business savvy to their success. She's an expert in enhancing the capacity of leaders to build high-performing teams and exponentially increase bottom-line results. Michelle's unique rapid rewiring approach is a culmination of years of study in the realms of emotional intelligence, neuroscience, organization psychology, and rapid transformational therapy or RTT. She helps catalyze shifts in thinking and eliminate mental and emotional blocks to rapidly rewire your brain for greater confidence and success. As a nationally recognized speaker, certified executive coach, certified rapid transformational therapy practitioner, she's a certified hypnotherapist, consultant, trainer, and writer. Michelle's passion for helping amplify natural talents and expand leadership is conveyed through all aspects of her work and writing. That's such an impressive resume, Michelle.
Oh, thanks. It's been a hot minute in the making.
So tell me about your work. How did you get into it? What motivates you? Things like that. Just let's start.
Sure. So I have been an executive coach now for over 18 years. In my former career, I was a creative director in web development. I moved here to the San Francisco Bay Area in California at the height of the dot-com boom, working for a global web development company. We were going to IPO. It was very exciting, and the market crashed. And later that year, I essentially got bullied out of my job by two co-workers that I had hired. Actually, two people were on my team. And it was quite devastating to me, to my confidence, to my self-esteem, to my pride, in so many ways.
Imagine, yeah.
And I was really quite the deer in the headlights and didn't know what to do next. And so my uncle, in all his wisdom, said, "Hey, why don't you get a coach?" I was like, "What?" I had no idea what coaching was at the time. And so in hiring a coach, I actually discovered my true purpose and calling. It was like all the cells in my body, Priya, came into alignment and said, yes, this is what you're supposed to be doing. So I went on to get trained and certified and started my own company, Nectar Consulting, back in 2001 and have been doing it ever since. And all along through that process, I've been a seeker, always trying to find how to be the best version of myself, to let go of the junk in my trunk that was holding me back and slowing me down. And there was a few places that I still couldn't quite get at despite all my best efforts. And so several years ago, I discovered the work of Marisa Peer, who's a world-renowned therapist, and did some work with her. And her process that she has pioneered, called Rapid Transformational Therapy, literally helped me remove blocks in a matter of weeks that I had been trying to get at for 20 years.
Yeah.
And it was quite astounding because I'm pretty tenacious and I had been trying really hard to move some of the stuff out of the way unsuccessfully. Yeah. So when I was able to finally move beyond those things, I was thrilled and delighted. So when she started training people in her methodology, I was like, yes, pick me. So I've been trained and certified. I've worked with Marisa and her team to build some other products and services as well. And ultimately what I've done is I've incorporated the work of RTT, or Rapid Transformational Therapy, with my coaching inside of a 30-day program that I call the Rapid Rewiring Breakthrough Program. Oh. And what I found is that RTT is very powerful and coaching is very powerful. When you bring them together, it really supercharges them both and allows my clients to make literally quantum leaps inside of 30 to 90 days. Some folks I work with 60 or 90 days, but most of the time I work myself out of a job pretty quickly inside of 30 days. So folks are able to identify the limiting beliefs they've been carrying around in their their thinking for sometimes their whole lives, which has also led to physical issues in their bodies. Our thoughts are very powerful things, and it creates
Yes. Yes.
an impact at a cellular level. So
No,
watching my
absolutely.
clients eliminate not only the limiting beliefs that they have about themselves, but freeing themselves from things like arthritis and IBS and adrenal fatigue and chronic migraines has been really quite a joy for me to watch.
That's amazing because, and I completely agree with the emotional thing because I had I used to suffer from health issues and I couldn't figure out what was the problem until I read Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, right? And that was kind
Yes.
of a mind-opening experience for me many years ago. This was when my kid was born, a few years after that, and I developed health issues, and then I was able to completely heal that, using self acceptance. And I go lean more towards the Buddhist kind of philosophy, but their self
Mm-hmm.
acceptance practices were beautiful. I found I really love that, and those are the things I practice in my daily life. And I've written a book about helping to help women do that also, called Devi to Diva. I'll put the link in the description below so you can have a look at it. But I've done Marisa's course as well, right? I was telling you, and it's amazing. It's life changing, right? I'm sure for a lot of
It
people.
truly is.
Yeah. So and combining it with coaching is a brilliant idea because you can guide people to the changes that they actually want to make, right?
Yeah, well, RTT it's a deep dive. I basically work with people's subconscious in a
Yeah.
state of hypnosis to help them identify what those blocks are, and
Mm.
then we literally rewrite the story they've been telling themselves to eliminate the emotional charge. We can't change your history, but we can change the story you're telling yourself about it. And then in doing so, it's kind of like doing a bit of a brain detox. If you've
Yeah.
ever done a sugar detox or a diet, right? You take all the good stuff, all the yummy stuff out of your diet, and you put in lots of healthy things, and your body's like, hey, wait, where'd all that yummy stuff go? It gets a little irritated with you, right? Well, your brain is kind of the same way, because your amygdala, which is your fight or flight mechanism in your brain, excuse me, it's there to keep you safe and alive and on the planet. It's your fight or flight mechanism. I like to call her Amy. Amy's your amygdala. And Amy just wants to, keep you cozy in your comfort zone. And
Yeah.
when you start to change your beliefs about yourself, even if they've been unhealthy beliefs, that's what's familiar or known to your brain. And your brain likes what's familiar. So when you start to go changing those beliefs, Amy's like, hey, wait, no, I don't know about that. What are you doing? Right. And so
Right.
she tends to get a little loud and ornery. So the coaching is there to support my clients through a 30-day program. So we start with a 2-hour RTT session, which I do all my work over Zoom, just like this, like you and I are talking today, and able to work with folks all over the world this way. It works beautifully. And then we follow that up with 3 60-minute coaching sessions so that I can support them, helping them see the finer nuances of the shifts that are happening, because sometimes they're big and bright and bold, and sometimes they're very subtle, right? I had one client I worked with who came to me with arthritis, psoriasis, and weight issues.
Mm.
And we worked together for 90 days, and what we realized was that at the root causes of her ailments was some emotions that she hadn't processed after losing a baby.
Oh, okay.
And her arthritis had been so bad that she wasn't able to do a lot with her son. She had a 5-year-old son at the time. And after 30 days of working together, it was around Halloween a couple
Yeah.
years ago. And we had our coaching session, and she was telling me about all the 5 different parties that she had gone to with her son. And then she stopped and she paused. She's like, wow, I couldn't do that last year. I didn't have the strength or the energy to do that. I was like, now that's what I'm talking about, right? So it's those little subtle things that make all the difference in the world,
Yeah.
that people are able to realize for themselves, and move forward more powerfully.
Absolutely, absolutely. And people don't realize how powerful hypnosis is, because I've been using hypnosis for many years. I go to sleep listening to hypnosis tapes. So I've been using it for many years to overcome a whole bunch of things. You work through things one at a time, right? So I've been doing that. And RTT is a very powerful hypnotic method to help you overcome your limiting beliefs. And as I went through Marisa's course, I went through her abundance course, that I found so many changes happening to me, so many things. I found that I was, able to overcome so many blocks in my thinking as well, and like you said, when you work through those things, it's I just thought of a saying: it's never too late to have a happy childhood, right? So
Yes,
even
yes,
if
exactly.
even if you even if you're stuck with all those blocks and stuff like that, you can still work on it. And you might have gone through a whole lot of stuff in your childhood, but you can still rewrite that story and look at it in a more empowering way, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I had another client I worked with. He had severe adrenal fatigue. He had built a multi-million-dollar business by the time he was 27, and it nearly killed him. And his body was like, I can't do it anymore. He was a super high performer, and his body basically shut down, and his business collapsed. And he was basically under doctor's care for several years.
Yeah.
He was maintaining a very strict diet, because his gut was all out of whack as well. And when I met him, he'd been, working with doctors for 2.5 years, and he was slowly getting better, but he still wasn't back up to peak performance. He was probably 40% of 100%.
Yeah.
And we did some work together for 90 days as well. And he happened to have blood work done before we did our work, and then he had it done afterwards. And his medical doctor, who had been caring for him over the last 2.5, 3 years, was astounded. He's like, wow, you're up to like 85% capacity now. Because what had been at the root cause was that the abuse that he had suffered, mental and physical and verbal abuse from his father as a kid.
Right.
And it had driven him to be the very best. I'll show you, you're not going to tell me who I can and can't be. I'll prove you wrong. And all of that old emotion was that driving force behind all of his work. And so when we were able to pull all that apart and shift the story, he's been able to dramatically improve his health. And, he's created a new business online that's on track to be another multi-million-dollar business this year. So it's been exciting to watch him, and it's just such a joy to see people's lives transform, because the things they've been telling themselves in their mind, right? And when you can shift that, when you can get at those deeply held subconscious beliefs that you don't even know that you're carrying around oftentimes, it makes a huge difference.
Yes, absolutely. I have seen, these patterns. People live out these patterns. Like you said, he was abused by his father, and a lot of us, especially high achievers, there's the deep belief the belief at their subconscious level is that I'm not enough.
Yep.
They a lot of them believe I'm not enough, and I need to perform, I need to achieve, I need to make so much money, I need to do so much in order to be enough. But it never is enough, right? If you don't get rid of that belief, that underlying belief, it's never going to be enough. And so you have to work on that, right, Michelle?
Absolutely. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of people from all over the world, and it's a very common belief. And there was one I held about myself for a very, very long time, and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
And and once I did, I saw how sneaky that belief was, and how
Yeah.
it showed up in so many different things. And so, for all of your listeners, as a beginning point, if nothing else from today's conversation, just write down, I
I am
am enough. Put it
enough.
on a
Yeah.
sticky, write it on your mirror, put it all over your house, write it on your hand, put it on your computer screen, wherever.
Yeah.
And just keep telling yourself that, even if you don't believe it, right? It's, the more you repeat something, the stronger that thought pattern becomes, right? Your brain likes, as I said earlier, it likes what's familiar. So if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm not enough, that's what's familiar, good, bad,
Yeah.
right, or wrong. And so it's by repeating this new belief, I am enough. Of course I'm enough. I've always been enough. Why wouldn't I be enough? I always have been. I always will be enough. Rinse, repeat. As the more you tell yourself that, the stronger those neural pathways become in your brain. And that becomes the new normal, the new familiar in your brain. And then one day you wake up and you're like, well, of course I'm enough. Why would I
Yeah.
ever think that I wasn't enough? Like, it just, like, something switches, and everything starts to change, and it creates this really powerful ripple effect all throughout your life. It's really extraordinary to watch.
Yeah, yeah. And RTT is one of the tools that can help you do that, because your brain is like a computer. It's like, I mean, that's how I think of it. And all these programs are like bad programs, or erroneous programs written into that computer. So hypnosis is something that rewrites the programs. It rewrites those programs, and it creates new programs to help you achieve the things that you really want in life. So I think that.
Absolutely. One of the things that I love about this modality, and that makes it unique, I think, because I had done hypnosis in the past, and it felt good in the moment, but it never really created any sustainable change.
Right.
But with my rapid rewiring process, we start with that 2-hour RTT session, right? Where I take you into a state of hypnosis. I talk with your subconscious. We get at those root causes. But then while you're still in hypnosis, I take all the data that I've learned from our conversations and the notes and the intake questions that I'm asking, and I weave it into what I call the transformation recording.
Yeah.
And so while you're still in hypnosis, I'm essentially instilling new empowering beliefs and thoughts, new patterns for better behavior, right?
Right.
And then I take that 25 to 30 minute recording, I mix in binaural beat music, which helps drop you into that alpha brainwave state, that semi-awake, semi-asleep state,
Right.
which is your super learning, right? And I give that recording to you, and then your homework is to listen to it every day for 21 to 30 days.
Yeah.
Because listening to it as you fall asleep every night, as you're drifting off into that delta brainwave state where you're in a restful place, your subconscious is always listening. So that data, that information is just going in and being absorbed and being absorbed and being absorbed into your subconscious, building those new neural pathways that I was talking about. So at the end of the 30-day program, you've identified the limiting belief, you've rewritten it, you've eliminated the emotional charge, you've rewritten new beliefs, patterns, and behaviors for yourself, and then you've put new goals and strategies into place to help you make that big, huge leap forward that we all want in our lives around things where we feel stuck or spinning in circles, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I love the fact that you've got your own, that you've created your own program to help people do that. What is the number one thing that, like you said, write I'm enough on all these little chits and put them all over your house so that your brain starts absorbing that. So can you give us some more tips? Can you give my audience some more tips to a few things that they can do?
Absolutely. Another thing
that.
for them to look at within themselves is just start to notice as you walk around on the daily, where are your thoughts? Are your thoughts above the line, i.e., are you thinking positive thoughts about yourself, about your life, about what you can and can't achieve? Or are you below the line? Are you in a more negative space, full of self-doubt or fear or negativity, anger, frustration? And As you move through your day and you just start to notice that, I'm okay, I'm above the line today. That's great. Or wow, I'm really kind of below the line. Noticing is the first step, right? And then once you start to notice, okay, well, if I'm below the line, what are those thoughts? What's the repetitive thought that keeps going round and round and round in my mind, right? And write those down. And then ask yourself, is this really true? Is this what's really true about me? And if you just take that negative belief, if we come back to I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not tall enough, short enough, pretty enough, whatever enough, right? And you flip that belief on its head and you tell yourself, I am enough, even just for the moment, hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, if you stand in the position of, well, what if I am enough? How does that make you feel? Wow. Well, I stand up a little taller. I feel a little better about myself. Okay. And then from that place, then how do you behave? How do you move through the world? Well, I'm more willing to, pick up the phone and make that phone call, or go to that networking meeting, or speak my truth about whatever the situation is. And then how does that make you feel? That behavior, what's the outcome of that? So, then I feel better. I even feel more confident about myself, better about myself. So it creates this upward spiral,
right,
that can move you forward versus taking you down the rabbit hole into a negative spiral. So you get to choose at any moment, right? You can choose to be happy, or you can choose to be sad or angry or frustrated.
yes,
Even in the most challenging of situations, there's something that you can find gratitude for. Right?
absolutely.
We've all had difficult situations in our lives, right?
Yeah,
Big, small, large, huge catastrophes, right? Doesn't matter. It impacts us in our own way, no matter how big or how small it is, right? And even in those difficult moments, if you can find one little thing to be grateful for and let that piece of gratitude pull you forward to a slightly better place, and then you can up level and then up level and then up level, one little step at a time.
Right. I love this. I love this. Tip that you're sharing, because there was one book that really helped me do that in my life. There was not one book. I would say there were quite a few books that helped me do that. One of them was Shortcut Through Therapy, was by Richard Carlson, because in that book it made me realize that happiness is a choice, and that's a choice you make every moment of the day, to be happy or to go down the rabbit hole and start thinking all those negative thoughts, right? So, and then there was another book called by Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you've heard of them. I love them, Esther Hicks.
Yes.
And that
love
was
Esther.
yeah. And I think I don't remember the name of the book. It was not Law of Attraction. It was the other book where they give you a number of steps to take you from a low vibration, a point of low vibration, to a higher vibration, to thinking better thoughts, to just thinking better thoughts, period, right?
Absolutely. And for all your listeners, Priya, the cool thing about this is it's science, right? I geek out on neuroscience of all this and physics. And if you boil this down, we're all just energy, right? If you look all the way down at a subatomic level, we're just energy spinning around, right?
Yeah,
in
that's
these
what
different forms.
Nikola Tesla said that we're all energy. If you look at the base of everything, it's energy and vibration, right? So
yes, exactly. And so our emotions vibrate at different frequencies.
Yeah.
And there's a book called Power versus Force.
Yeah.
And it goes into detail about this, about what emotions vibrate at what levels. And so that's the above the line, below the line thing that I was talking about, right? Our negative emotions vibrate at a lower frequency, and then physics kicks in, the law of attraction kicks in, and like attracts like. So if you're vibrating at a negative, lower frequency, guess what? You're going to attract to you more negative, lower frequency types of people, situations, and circumstances. It's going to be the filter, the lens that you're going to see the world through.
Yes.
And so I would invite you to choose. What's a different perspective that I want to choose for myself today that's going to help me raise my vibration, even if it's just a little bit, right? I have on my website, nectarconsulting.com, there's the brain candy section. And in the brain candy section is a bunch of free resources for folks. And I have some guided meditations there. And one of them is called Meditation for Abundance. And it's about a 25-minute meditation that I recommend you start your day with. And it really helps you pre-pave your intentions for the day. What do I want for today? What am I grateful for today? What am I letting go of today? And what do I want to create for my future 3 years from now, and what's needed today to get me to that future vision, right? And it's very relaxing, but it's a great way to help you focus your thoughts and your energy and your intentions and how you want to move forward throughout the day.
I'm going to download that, and I'm going to listen to it every morning when I get up, so before I get out of my bed, I'm going to sit and lie there and listen to it. So I like that. I love that. I'm always looking for new meditations and new hypnosis tapes to listen to, because I just love it's like the lazy person's way to, reprogram your mind.
I'm like, if I can multitask and change my brain while I sleep, I'm all for it. All for it.
Yeah.
Right. I have some on my website. I also have 2 ebooks, Priya, that I've written. One is called Saying No with Grace and Grit, and the other is called Tapping into Your Power and Presence. And I've created transformation recordings for both of those. So you can also download those and get the MP3 recording, which is a hypnosis recording that you can start to listen to as well. So I got all sorts of goodies for you out there.
Great. Fantastic. I'm going to link to all of them in the description below. So if you have any parting thoughts to share with my listeners, please go ahead.
Just for folks who are feeling stuck or feeling fearful or worried or anxious, know that you can move through this. You're more powerful than you realize. And when you start to focus your thoughts and your intentions and your actions on the place that you truly want to be versus where you don't want to be, then things can start to change. But, start with a very simple step of just telling yourself, I am enough. I always have been.
Yes.
I always will be.
Absolutely. I love that, Michele. I'm going to stop the recording right now. Thank you for listening to Nari Talk. Visit nari.com and download my empowering guided meditation and work from home checklist so you can get started on your journey to emotional and financial independence. That's NAAREE.com.